That's step one of today's walk done, dropping off the bike, and that's going to pay off at the end of today's walk. So as I mentioned there, today's walk began by dropping the bike off at Camas, which would be the end point for today's walk. Now all I had to do was make my way to the start point at Invervar. Well guys, that was a pretty brutal start to today's walk. Straight up from Invervar, as you can see here, up the zigzags. And today I'm doing the biggie, the Beinn Ghlas 7. And I'm doing it a pretty different way to the normal approach. It can be split up into several days, but I'm actually doing it from the north, from Glen Lyon. It's a pretty big day with the walk in and walk out. And as you've seen, I dropped my bike at the end point of the walk, and I'm going to cycle along this road at the end of the day, hopefully leaving the easiest part to last. So the hardest part is probably going to be just now. I've made up my own route for getting to this first Munro. It's going to be pretty much pathless from here, but as always the views across Glen Lyon are amazing. Right guys, I finally joined a path at last, and don't be fooled, that was a good couple of hours from Invervar to get up to here. And look at this, unfortunately we're clagged in. You can just see the peaks behind me, but for now I'm doing an out and back for the first Munro. I've got a huge day ahead of me, so if the weather's going to be like this up here, I think I'm going to bag it and run. Well, as expected, it's fully clagged in here, the first Munro of the Beinn Ghlas circuit. And this one's a little bit of an outlier to the rest of the group. But these paths are well trodden, they're very popular hills. And I'm hoping it's going to be path for most of the route today. This is Meall Greigh, and it means rounded hill of the horse stud. And it's 1,001 metres high. As you can see, there's nothing to be seen from here. So I think I'm just going to crack on to the next Munro. Right, this is a pretty good sign. I can actually see what's ahead, and it looks a long, long way. So here we go. So the next Munro is over here. Third is there, and the big Beinn Ghlas is here, which still looks to be in the cloud, which I'm not surprised, as it's the highest Munro that I'm going to do today. So yeah, things are looking up. Whew. There we go guys, the second Munro for today, and that'll be my 129th Munro. This is Meall Garbh, which means the rough rounded hill, and it's 1,118 metres high, so quite a bit higher than the first one of today. The views have really opened up here, so I'll show you what's ahead. So behind you can see Stuc and the scramble up the face there. It doesn't look too far away, but I think that scramble is going to take up most of the time getting there. I'm looking forward to it. It adds a bit of excitement to these somewhat grassy hills. It sometimes feels like you're just crossing fields, which makes for easy going, but sometimes it's not the most exciting. So yeah, let's go to the next Munro. So I'm just about to face the Stuc scramble behind me. It almost looks like a character, this big rock face, after the pretty much grassy fields I've been faced with so far. The route I'm going to take is probably up to the left hand side here, and then finish off up to the right hand side. There's actually a group of sheep up there just behind me, so if they can manage it, then hopefully I can too. So from here, the scramble here gets pretty steep, as you can see, and there's a lot of loose rocks and mud. So from here I had to put my camera away and focus on the task ahead. Well, there we go, Stuc, and that scramble was a little bit harder than expected. It was pretty wet and greasy, so I put the camera away. I ended up sticking to the left hand side of it more, and that seemed to be a little bit easier. But Stuc means the peak, and it's the same height as the Munro before it, 1118 metres. This is another recently promoted Munro, which just gained its Munro status in 1997. The views are probably the best they've been all day from here, as I've got a full view of the Lowers range. So I'll show you some of the views here while the sun's out as well. So here we've got Lochan and Cat down here. There's the mighty Beinn Ghlas, finally clear at the top. The Munro after that is there. The next one just next to it, and then another outlier to finish the day, which will be over here. You can also see back to the two from earlier, there and there.
You ride away on a different one you've never lived before, so with haste go to somewhere you have never been.
Well, that's me just making my way up the highest Munro for today, which is Beinn Ghlas, which you can see there. Looks like a fair pull up actually, and I'm pretty sure that's the 10th highest Munro. So it'll be good to get up there. It's getting busier, there's a lot of people coming off it already, and I can see figures at the top. So I'm not sure how much filming I'm going to do up there, but we'll see. So I'll check back in at the 4th Munro today. So before I knew it, I made it to the top of Beinn Ghlas, the 10th highest Munro in Scotland. And this stands at 1,214 metres high. It was a fantastic viewpoint of all the Munros around it, and also down to Loch Tay.
wish I still was. It's a feeling that you cannot beat when your feet do not know the road, and your head must take you home.
So after quite some time I decided to start making my way to the next Munro, and it was a bit of an eyesore down this path as it looks like they were in progress of rebuilding it. Right guys, just a quick update. I'm right between Munro number 4 and 5, and it's just a conveyor belt of people. So I've had to put a stop to my filming a little bit. I can't believe how busy it is, considering how dead the first 3 were. I've never seen a person on any of them. I think the last 2 might be a little bit quieter though. Well guys, that's a bit of a disappointing caird for the size of this Munro. But luckily there's nobody up here, which I'm very surprised at. So this is Beinn Ghlas, which means the grey or the green hill, and it's 1,103 metres high. It's the 5th Munro that I've done today, so my legs are starting to feel it a little bit. But that takes the total up to 132 Munros. Oh, we're flying through them today, especially that last 2, as it was only about 20 minutes to get from Beinn Ghlas to here. So I didn't hang about for long at the top of Beinn Ghlas, but you could see the views across the next Munro and back to Beinn Ghlas where I just came from. So I'm just coming off the side of Beinn Ghlas now, and I'm kind of taking the quick way off rather than the main path back, as I'm going to go across here, down and then up the next Munro. I can tell now that's going to hurt my legs, that over there. But before tackling the next Munro, I had to stop and refuel with some biscuits. By this point my legs were getting heavy. You can probably see it by the pace that I'm moving here, but this was probably one of the most difficult parts of the day. Well guys, oh, I'm knackered. This is Munro 133 for me now, and the 6th of the Beinn Ghlas circuit today. It's called Meall Corranaich and it's 1,069 metres high. Oh, 1 to go, and to be honest, it doesn't look bad at all. So I'm going to have a look at some of the views up here and then make my way to number 7. That's where I'm going to take a bit of a break before descending back down towards my bike. So from here you can see loads of peaks in the distance. Not quite sure what they all are, but that must be Meall Corranaich in about there somewhere. One I've not done yet. And over here must be Stuc and I can't remember the name of the other one, but that's one I've done pretty recently. And behind me is the way ahead, with that big lump in the distance to be the last Munro of today. So I'm going to crack on with the final Munro. Oh, I'm going to have to take a seat, I think. Oh. There's the 7th Munro of today, number 134. And this is Meall Corranaich, and it's 926 metres high. Luckily it's the smallest Munro of today's round, and I think it means peak of the Greigh Corrie. What a long day it's been. I think I've been on the go 9.5 hours so far, and I've probably got about another hour and a half by the time I get back down to my bike. And then I've got a 5 kilometre cycle back to the van, so it's looking like a 12 or 13 hour day. The views from here are actually probably some of the best of today, onto the big peaks around Beinn Ghlas. It's been fantastic. Even though it's been really tiring, I have enjoyed it today. Anyway, that's another 7 Munros in the bag, and I'm approaching the halfway mark, which I'm looking forward to, as it means I'm over the hill, quite literally over the hill, and I know that I've got less Munros to do than I've already done. But I better review this day out of 10 before I end the video, and I think I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. The hills are great, they're all pretty similar, big grassy lumps of Munros. So I'm kind of glad I've done them in this way, get them all done in one day. Definitely great hills for beginners like Beinn Ghlas and Beinn Ghlas. That as a day is probably great for some of your first Munros. So that's it. I'm gonna have a little sleep, I think, and then head down for my bike. After about an hour and a half to 2 hours, I finally made it back to my bike. And even though my face might say otherwise, I was actually really excited to cycle this last part back to the van. So thanks for watching today's long video. I hope you enjoyed it, and you'll join me for some more Munros in the next one.